Good morning, world. I am Judy, your web-based therapist, making therapy accessible and convenient for our clients in Florida and New York, and of course, sharing information worldwide. Today, I want to take a moment and talk about 5 tips for helping children, especially children with ADHD, manage or set a morning routine. Because we know in the morning, it can get very chaotic with everyone needing to get out of the house. There's so much hustling and bustling going on, it can get chaotic. It can get difficult, especially when there are so many different moving pieces. So that's why today we're talking about 5 tips to help children set and maintain a morning routine. But before I get into that, I want to take a quick moment and say if you are subscribed, thank you so much for being a part of our awesome world. If you're not yet subscribed, please take a moment and click the subscribe button below so you can join all this awesomeness. And remember to tick the bell so you are notified when I post new videos so you don't miss anything. And of course, if you'd like to purchase 1 or 3 of my books, there's also a link below that will take you to a site that shows you all your different options of where you could get 1 or 3 of my books. Okay, let me get back. First, give them one task at a time. Yes, you have your own list of 300 million things that you need to get done before you can leave the house. And there are so many different things that you need your children to take care of before they can leave the house. But it's important that instead of giving them a whole list, even if you have a list of 10 small items that they need to take care of, give them one thing at a time. Maybe you have the list on the door and that they're checking it off. But instead of saying, hey, I need you to go through this list of 10 things, give them one thing and then check and then follow up. Give them the next thing, because that way they're able to focus on what they're doing and they don't have to think about the 300 other million things that they have to do. And they don't have to figure out how they're going to reorder all 3,000 things that you just asked them to do. So just give them one thing, because that gives them one thing to focus on and give them a set time to do that, and make sure that you're following up with them. That way you can make sure that whatever it is that you ask them to do is getting done or has been done before you move them to the next thing. And the next thing is help them track time. People lose track of time in general, especially in the morning. Children lose track of time. And children with ADHD have an even more difficult time managing that whole idea, that whole concept of time. 5 minutes, you give a child 5 minutes to do something, it goes by really fast, especially when they are in the position where they are being distracted by other things. Because, with ADHD, it doesn't take much to distract a person. So help them learn how to track time. This means that you're not giving the child 5 minutes to do things. You will give them something more tangible to track 5 minutes. Maybe they're listening to a song. Maybe they're listening to something. Give them something that they can watch, something that they know, hey, as I listen, while I'm brushing my teeth, I'm listening to a song. While I'm doing this, or maybe it's a countdown clock or something that is tangible. Telling a child 5 minutes doesn't work. And definitely setting a timer that's gonna go off in 5 minutes also does not really work for children, especially the younger one. So things like a song, maybe some kind of special hourglass thing where they know that, hey, as it's going down, or they have these clocks where it's the timer that is changing color, or that they're seeing the time go away, but something that has more graphic or that has something more than just 5 minutes going through. 3, use your inside voice and do this consistently. All of these things you need to be consistent with, but definitely remembering to use your inside voice, because sometimes when people get frustrated, when you're in a rush, when you're in a hurry, people start to lose their patience. Sometimes the tone, sometimes the pace, sometimes the communication seems to start to get less patient and less nice and less quiet. But you have to remember that when you start yelling, when you start screaming, when your tone starts to change, you're changing the response of that other person. I shared a different video about reasons people need to not yell. And one of the reasons is that when you yell at someone, when you start screaming at them, or when you activate that startle response, the person has to stop what they're doing to now go into this, hey, I am being attacked mode. What do I do with that? So use your inside voice as much as possible, actually very consistently, not just when everything is good, but even when Johnny forgot or Johnny got distracted or Emma went and did something other than what you wanted her to do, and now you're frustrated. You still need to be using your inside voice, because you don't want to be frustrating them. You don't want to have the person having to be redirected or having to deal with that level of emotion of someone being yelled at. Keep your inside quiet, supportive, cooperative voice, because this is, a cooperative environment. 4, allow space for them to do things their way. Sometimes, especially as parents, you may have a set routine, a set way that you would like your child to do certain things, but that does not necessarily mean that this way works for them. And sometimes your way may work for some things, but they have come up with something a little different that works better for them. Allow room for their input. Allow room for them to do things their way, because the goal is not that they do things your way. The goal is that they get the thing done, and that the thing gets done quickly enough for you to get out of the house in a timely manner. So allow them to have input in whatever the plan is that you're putting together for them, and whatever it is that you're asking them to do. Leave space, make space for them to have input in that, for them to change certain things, for them to just make it work for them. Finally, reward and encourage. And of course, this has to be consistent as well. Actually, all of them, especially with allowing space, that also really needs to be consistent. You can't let them do it their way when you have time, and when you're in a rush, like, no, your way takes too long. That has to be consistent as well. But let's go back to 5. Reward and encourage. Part of the idea is to help them build that muscle memory where they are doing things automatically. But in order for them to get to that point where their body naturally knows, hey, this is what's happening, where it's that muscle memory has been solidified, they need to be consistently doing something, and they need to have reason. They need to be motivated and encouraged to continue doing things, because morning routines are not fun. I know morning routines are not fun. I am not a morning person. I am not a fan. But children will learn to do it. If you help them develop that skill, it will help them not just in childhood, but also in adulthood. But in order for them to get to that point where they are consistently following through, you need to be encouraging them as they learn to do this. This means that you are providing rewards. Maybe you set a reward schedule that is based on, okay, how many times they get things, how many days of the week they get things done, how many times they get things done without being reminded. Just set up different levels of rewards that they can do, and provide that encouragement. Meaning that when that child gets through step 1, before you send them to do step 2, take a moment and praise them, encourage them, remind them, tell them how great a job they did. Whatever it is that you need to say to your child to motivate and encourage them, make sure that you are doing that. Reward and encourage them, and definitely consistently. And encouraging is not, hey, you did it well this time, unlike last time when you did it wrong. Don't remind them about times when they didn't do it well. Focus on the times when they are doing it well. Quick recap. 1, give them one task at a time, because it's easier for you to track and for them to focus on that one thing that you have asked them to do, instead of having to deal with 3 million different things. 2, help them track time, because children are not the best timekeepers. Use things like maybe music or something else that is more visual, that is more tangible, that they can look at, that they can see and know that, hey, 5 minutes is going by, we're almost at the 5 minutes, or things like that. Use your inside voice, and definitely make sure that you're doing that even when you're frustrated, even when you're in a rush, making sure that you're not activating the startled response in that child and making things worse instead of better. 4, allow them space to do things their way, because sometimes they may have a way that works better for them than your way. So the goal is for things to get done, not things to get done your way. And finally, reward and encourage them consistently, because it's important to motivate them, to give them reason, to give them that encouragement and make them want to keep following this morning routine thing, which is not fun or easy. As always, if you or someone you know happens to be going through something that's more than you can handle, please remember that there are professionals like myself who are available, able, and willing to help, and are even providing remote services who can assist with whatever you may have going on. So please figure out who those people are in your community so that if you need to, you can reach out and get the help that you need. And that is all we have for today. Good morning, world. Have an awesome day.